Yo, what's good, people? Welcome to the channel where we talk about music licensing, music production, and music business. If you love any of the previously mentioned, be sure to subscribe so you can stay up to date on all the latest content. Can you tell it's been a couple weeks, man? I take a couple weeks off and then my tongue start getting twisted. So shout out to everybody in the stream, man. It's another Music is My Business podcast, live Q&A. If you are in the building, drop it in the chat. Let me know where you from. Let me know what you do. Shout out to Freddie River Music. I see you in the building. Super excited to be back because it's been a minute. So yeah, man, what y'all been up to? Let me know. I'm super curious. Always curious. What's today? Today is Wednesday. Today's been dope. Today is my son's birthday. Y'all want to know what we did for him for his birthday this morning? Drop it in the chat if you want to know. It's a funny story. I'll tell you guys a story about it. So my wife, she came up with this dope idea to surprise, to sneak in his room and surprise him, fill his room up with balloons and stuff, and put all this confetti on his door or whatever. So when he wakes up, it's just like this, this big grand surprise or whatever. So last night, me and the wife is getting everything ready, blowing up balloons and stuff. I think I blew up like 15 balloons or something like that. So we thought he was knocked. Like, we thought he was knocked cold, because usually by the time I lay him down for bed, a couple hours go by, we'll come back down, do some more work, chill or whatever, and then by that time, like, he's super knocked, like he's not moving. So we get the balloons filled up. So we try and sneak in his room as quiet as possible. So I'm in front, my wife's behind me. She's like, yo, take your house shoes off. And I'm like, these house shoes ain't loud. Like, they're Crocs. Like, you're not gonna hear it. She's like, just take them off just in case. So I'm like, listen, the balloons, me walking down the hallway, the balloons were already mad loud squeaking together. So I'm like, yo, this is about to be a disaster. So I opened the door. I got the balloons. I'm trying to squeeze through the door with all these balloons in my arm. The balloons are squeaking. So he kind of like moves a little bit. He's not like waking up, but he kind of moves a little bit. So then I hurry up. I start throwing the balloons around. So then he starts moving more, and then my wife's coming behind me with more balloons. So then, like, all of a sudden, like, this dude he starts sitting up in the bed and was just like mad confused, like wondering like what's happening. So then my wife like rushes over there. She's like trying to calm him down. She's like, lay down, just go to sleep. Just trying to act like nothing is happening. So she gets him to lay down. She's trying to like prevent him from seeing what's happening. So then we get the balloons in there, and then we ran out, and then he didn't go right back to sleep. Like, literally, he was sitting in his bed, because we seen him on the monitor, and he was just staring at the balloons on the floor. Confused, man. It was crazy. So he fell back to sleep, and then we woke up. We did like a little door. We threw like some streaming, what is it called? It's like paper. What is it called? I forget what they call it. It was like some streaming paper or something like that. And we hang it on the door, so like every time he walks through his door, he like goes through this stuff. And then we gave him a gift and stuff this morning, surprised him. So it worked out, but the dude almost woke up, and like we was about to be up all night if he wouldn't have went back to sleep. So I'm glad it worked out. Yo, shout out to everybody in the stream, man. That's my story. The Acme Beat Company was good. Appreciate it, man. Glad you enjoying the stream. Glad you like it. Official AD, what's good? Immaculate Beats is in the building. What's good? We got Darius Fentress, percussionist, producer, and engineer from Fort Worth. That's what's up. Chin Lee Beats, how you feel about being somebody's mentor? I'm mentoring a couple producers right now during my producer mentorship program. I love it, man. I love mentoring people. I love sharing what I know and helping producers get to the next level. So if you're looking for mentorship, producer mentorship, and you're super serious and you're ready to invest in yourself, then go to producermentorship.com and apply. It's invite only, so you definitely have to apply. And then if you're a good fit, I'll reach out, and then we can work together one-on-one, over like a span of 2 months. So yeah, love it. Benji Lewis, what's good? Good to see you in the stream. So yeah, man, drop your guys' questions in the chat. I'm answering some questions today. Music licensing, music business, production, all that dope stuff. Getting TV placements. And yeah, man. super duper busy day. But I'm knocking it out, man. This week I've been doing this thing where I'm like waking up at like 5 a.m. But it hasn't been bad. Like, I thought I'd be passed out by now, but it's been working out. It's been pretty cool. So we'll see. We'll see if it's something that I just do all the time and it just becomes a part of my routine. LW is in the building. What's up, LW? Appreciate you coming in. LW has been modded. Do you see your mod privileges, LW? But yeah. Is Songtradr a good look if I want to get into sync? So I don't have any experience with Songtradr. This is what I've heard as far as Songtradr is concerned. I know some people have commented and said they started to count. They've gotten some music kind of forwarded or whatever, or shortlisted for opportunities, but then they didn't get a sync. And then I've had some people comment. Did somebody comment? I did a video about Songtradr, and I'm not sure if somebody commented saying they landed something on there or not, or if it was just the getting shortlisted. But yeah, I don't have any personal experience. In my opinion, I don't know. Like, I know they just raised a boatload of money, and that's what that video was about. They just raised a boatload of money, so I don't know like who their clients are. Like, I don't know if they're going to directly to networks and ad agencies, or like I don't know what the situation is, or if they're just a middleman, and if you're paying fees per submission, or if you're just paying for a membership. I don't know. But I like to go direct as I can, or through a music library, because music libraries, they're not going to charge you anything, to be in the library. And then, they do their work, and then everybody gets paid at the end of the day without, having to dish out money up front. So yeah. But they actually, Songtradr legit commented on that video, and it was just like, yeah, we've gotten placements for many people. So, I believe they're a legit company. Just depends on which route you want to go. Chin Lee Beats, how do you go about dealing with backends? I don't like that they changed. My text is blue. I don't really like the blue text for the chat. I'm gonna change it as soon as I figure out how. But so backends, you have to be registered with a pro. So if you're in the States, that's BMI, ASCAP, CSAC. I think there's some other new one that's around that people mention sometimes. If you're in Canada, SOCAN. If you're in the UK, PRS. Depending on which country you're in, they have different ones. But you cannot collect backend royalties unless you are registered with one of those companies. So what happens is, when you're going through the process of getting your music signed to a music library, right, they're going to ask you for that performing rights organization information. And then once they sign your music, they register that music on your behalf with that organization. So the licensing company or the music library becomes the publisher. You keep your writer share of royalties. They keep the publisher share of royalties, back end royalties. And then, once you get something placed, the whoever's in charge of submitting cue sheets for that TV show or whatever, they submit that cue sheet to your pro, and then they match everything up. Oh, Chin Lee Beats got some stuff placed on Keeping Up with the Kardashians. Let's pay them some royalties. And then, a few quarters later, you'll get those back end payments directly from your performing rights organization. So that's how that works. Michael Connor Music, what's good? Is there capacity in a TV show for instrumental composition cues that the show's composer didn't compose? Oh, absolutely. Like, man, composers, dude, like, they'll do, if it's something that's like, it's kind of a mixture of score and other stuff, like they'll score some parts, but then there's other parts where they'll kind of play the role of like music supervisor sometimes, or there'll be another music supervisor in addition to a composer, and then they'll just kind of place already made music and instrumental. So yeah, absolutely. There's situations where there's both. I worked on a show. It was a pilot, and I was working with the composer of that show, and it was a combination of, composing music to picture and placing like already pre-made music where it fits. So yeah, there's definitely opportunities for that, for sure. That's a good question. LW, I do, thanks for the upgrade. Dope, no problem. Appreciate you. Cool Guy 91. Is it a smart move to find space for a recording studio if you don't have clients? My neighbors are complaining about the noise I'm making in my apartment from production I'm doing. I have been there. Listen, I've had the cops called on me for like producing music in my it was a loft when I first moved here, and it was like side by side lofts, and somebody, and I knew it. What, like, I asked them, I was like, who called? Because like it has to be either this person or this person. I know this person's mad cool because we already talked about this. Like, just come have a conversation with me. I'll turn it down after a certain time. Let me know when you sleep, and I'll work around your schedule because these beats ain't gonna stop. But do I think it's a smart move to find and build out a recording studio? No, not if you don't have clients. Like, and the reason why I say no, especially like if you don't have a plan, like that's gonna, you're immediately jumping into overhead before you're even making income from clients. So this is what I would do. There's a couple ways you can do this. You can talk to your neighbor. I don't know how many you have. If you're in a situation where you got people above, beneath, and side, then that's gonna be difficult. But try and have a conversation with your neighbors. Let them know, like, hey, I'm a producer. This is what I do. I'm a producer. I make music. I have to do this for my clients or whatever. I realize, and I want to be considerate that, it comes through the walls, right? So like, is there a time where we can work out to where it's not going to bother you as much? Or like, is there a certain time where you want me to cut it off? Because, if you got time during the day, this is what I used to do. I would do all my mixing, and like my mixing where I need my monitors, speakers and stuff like that. And I would do that during the day, during the times where people don't really care about noise. And then at night when it start to get quiet, 9-10 p.m. whatever, that's when I would throw my headphones on, and then I would just create ideas, and then or structure stuff out, and things like that, or just do admin work. That way you're still getting something done, you're at least getting ideas out, and then you can just mix them in the morning or during the day or whenever you have time. And it helps when you have the conversation and they kind of understand it. They understand that you're not just blasting music for the sake of entertainment. Like, it's actually a part of what you do. As a producer, they may be more understanding, and then you could cut down on the cops being called on you. So that's one way. Second way is, if you want to do the production studio route, which it could be dope, right? Because now you can bring in clientele, you can monetize that. But what I would do is I would start advertising and seeing if there's interest for a studio in your area or something, and try and like create some type of email list or wait list of people who are ready to purchase studio time, and just put your fillers out there and see if there's even interest, and see if you can kind of pre-sell it in a way before you actually step out there and invest money into getting a studio space. Compositions, or just leave that to the composer. Some composers are more hands-on and dealing with all of that, and then sometimes they work as a team. You got the composer, and then you got the music supervisor, kind of bringing in music that can be used as well. So, indeed. What's up, Wes Laylock from Ontario? Is disco the best way to keep my catalog ready for music managers? Man, I think so. Like, I mean, it's clean. It's clean, man. Especially if you're dealing with managers and stuff like that in a catalog, a decent catalog of music. It just makes it easier. You can quickly create playlists and things like that from your existing catalog of music. So, yeah. What's good, Broadway Blake? Good to see you, man. So basically, as an artist, just apply to more than one library. Yeah, absolutely. Listen, like, you can apply to as many libraries as you want, as you can physically work with. And I recommend that, especially if you're starting out, because over time it'll kind of narrow out, and you'll end up working with like a handful. But you gotta put those numbers up to find the good ones that work for you. So the more you reach out to, the more you increase your chances of actually getting a licensing deal, which ultimately increases your chances of getting more TV placements. And then once you figure out which ones are working for you, then you can, then you can decide you want to send more music to, a specific library. So yeah. What's your advice for a producer songwriter to get direct access to music supervisors or TV production studios? Another good question. So what I would do, if you're trying to get direct to a music supervisor, IMDb is going to be your friend. IMDb, you can search a movie, you can search a show, go to the music department, and I walk you through exactly how to do this in my Road to 10 Placements course. But you find them, and then you start stalking people on the internet. Like, it sounds funny, but I'm dead serious. Like, you virtually start stalking them. So you go on LinkedIn, try and find them on LinkedIn. Google them, see if they have some supervisors have like their own supervision company. See if you can find the company. See if you can find their Instagram. If you find some social media, Facebook, whatever, and then you can start interacting with them, and just kind of engaging with them. not being super duper like thirsty, you know what I'm saying? Because, you know, that's a good way to mess up a relationship. But, you know, just be genuine and just engage in their content. If they post something interesting, if you find out something interesting about them, you know, share that with them. If it's something that you feel like may give them value, you can share that with them. You know, just different things to, oh boy, look at that. Different things to, you know, help you stand out when you do finally reach out to them. So yeah, that would be my recommendation. If you're trying to get, you know, direct connects to, you know, to music supervisors and things like that. I am currently editing this color because I don't really like it. But now, hold on. There we go. All right, that's better. So yeah, but good question. TV production companies, same thing. You can still use IMDb for that too. Cause they'll say like, you know, the production company, and then you can start researching, reaching out to them, and shoot, call the numbers, and just like, yo, like, I supply music, would like to become a vendor, and then see what happens. Wes Laylock. The question is, let me get this figured out here. Is there a right number of tracks to pitch regarding getting into exclusive libraries? I like 5. The number 5 is okay with me. Cause I feel like 5 is like a good number. 5 is like a good number to where it's not overwhelming. And it gives them a good idea of, you know, the quality of music that you can produce. Like if you can't make a decision after 3-5 tracks on whether or not you want to sign somebody, then that's an issue. But 5 max is my number. And then keep in mind, because so many people want to like, they want to just like give people their entire catalog. Like, yo, hey, music library, here's everything I've produced in the last 10 years. And like, nobody's going to listen through all of that. You know what I mean? Like, it's just too overwhelming. And then it's just hard to pick a few tracks. So just start with a few. And if they like them, I promise you, like I can almost guarantee they will hit you back if they like your music. It's just how it works. Like, if you make good music, they need it. Like, they literally need your music, and they want it, and they want to help you. They're gonna hit back. They're gonna be like, yo, send more. So yeah, start with a few, start building that relationship, and then go from there. Immaculate Beats says, your boy just started a library through Discord and it's going smoothly so far. I'm going to start including the link to it when I hit up music libraries and music soups. Yeah, that's super dope. Congrats. Co3 Beats, what's up? Just jumping in. I don't know if you've covered this yet, but I got a question about IBM. Yeah, drop that joint in the chat. Is it bad to make beats from phone apps, or should I continue to save and buy as I go for studio equipment? Yes, it's horrible. You never make music on a phone. No, I'm playing. Listen, man. I'm gonna keep it 100. Nobody cares what you make music on. At the end of the day, a library is not gonna listen to your track and be like, they made this on an iPhone SE. Like, nobody's gonna know the difference. Like, if you can make dope quality music on a phone, on an iPad, on a computer, on a whatever, like on some hardware, analog gear, on an MPC, they don't care. What matters is the quality, the mix, the structure, and if it's something that they actually need, genre wise, that's what matters, man. Like if you can get those iPhone beats to sound broadcast quality, you're good. You know what I mean? You're good to go. I don't know how to, how deep you can get into the, I mean, I guess it depends on what you're using, because they got some pretty advanced apps for mobile production. So yeah, man, it don't matter. Use what you have until you can get what you want. I started with a Casio keyboard and a compact computer with the speakers next to the speakers mounted on top of the screen. That was my first production gear when I was 15. So yeah, just work from there. Those beats were trash though. Sheesh. We've come a long way, people. All right, so we got the question, the BMI question. Can you register the name of your production company / producer name in any work submitted anywhere are covered under that name, or would you have to register each beat individually? Let me reread this so I understand. Can you register the name of your production company and any work submitted anywhere are covered under that name, or would you have to so with BMI you have to register each beat individually? Yeah, because that's how everything is tracked. It's tracked by title, so you have to register each title of your work so that title can be tracked, and then those splits and percentages and stuff can be tracked. And that's usually tracked back to your name that you use with BMI, which usually is like just the government name. AD Polo, you hate mixing in monitors. Wow. I think that's like maybe the second time I've heard that. I'm the exact opposite though, man. Like headphones, it drives me nuts. I don't like mixing in headphones. I've had to a couple times. I've gotten some stuff placed that's been mixed on headphones, but I prefer not to do it. Like I've had to make more revisions on mixes that I sent straight from headphones than if I was sitting in front of monitors. So, man. I know in the past you've mentioned Disco for managing your catalog and playlist. Which pricing tier do you suggest getting started, and do you recommend any alternative platforms? Man, Disco, it's like, man, it's the only thing like it, really. But do what works for you. Like if I think I'm on like the $10 or $15 plan or something like that. I don't remember exactly what all is included, but it depending on how many tracks you need, just start with the most basic plan, and that you may find that gets the job done just fine, and you don't need to upgrade for anything else. But then if you start using that, how you start using stuff and you start realizing some of the extra features that you try and use, they block it and try and get you to upgrade. If you get to that point, then just upgrade after that. But that's what I recommend. Just kind of start with the basics and then go from there. No sense of paying for something with a bunch of extra stuff that you're not gonna use or need, or stuff like that. So Tom Adams Music, what's up from West Haven, Connecticut. MKX, what's up? So you don't need a publisher for admin. The licensed library becomes the publisher. Exactly. The library becomes the publisher. So yeah, they pretty much anything having to do with the tracks that they sign, they'll collect that. and then, pay it out to you, or you'll get paid as far as royalties, performance royalties, you'll get paid directly through your pro. But yeah, a library essentially takes the role of a publisher. What's up, Creative? Good to see you, man. She makes fire. What's up? Appreciate everything you do. Are artist websites still relevant, or has social media replaced that need? I mean, they're relevant. I think you can do a lot without having a website. I guess it depends on what you're doing, but I never want to just like 100% rely on social media, man, because you don't control it. If you have your own website, you got your domain and everything, you can control that. You can control what you put up there, you take down, you can change it, update it. You know what I mean? Like if you want people to go there to build your email list, like there's just flexibility that you have with a website. But yeah, I say have both. Obviously you got to be on social media, but man, there's people out here killing it just not even using a website. So it really depends on your goals, what you're trying to do, but I recommend at least having a website, so when have something to show up when people are Googling you and searching for you. Stalking is research. It is, man. Stalking is research. I think I've asked this before, but which is better, DistroKid or United Masters? I'm currently with TuneCore, but looking for something that will benefit me more. Go with DistroKid. I like DistroKid. It's better. I think DistroKid is like, they're knocking it out the park as far as features that you can use to promote your music, to share it. They have like just dope graphics and stuff that you can use to help promote it. But yeah, man, I say go with DistroKid. Way more tools than United Masters. Yeah, DistroKid. Shout out to DistroKid. It's the carpenter, not the hammer. I feel it, man. That's a fact. It's all about how you use it, man. Do I need to change my pro if I move to a different country? I'm from England and with PRS, but Canada has been my home for 12 years. That's a good question. I feel like that's like, I don't know. Honestly, if you move in another country, I guess it depends on where you have citizenship, because I know, for example, I was working with a musician and we did some tracks, but his citizenship status was a little bit different. Like, so it was a different tax form that he had to fill out when working with a library that we were working with. Which means, what does this have to do with the pro? I lost my thought. So if you're a citizen in a country, then, or is it a territory thing? I don't know, because I just confused myself talking it out. I mean, it seems like it makes sense. Like if you're in a country that you register with the pro that's in your country. And then my guess is, I mean, you would probably still have your PRS account. But that's a question for the pro. Ask PRS, hit them up, or ask the pro in Canada. They'll let you know, because I don't. That's the first time I've seen that question. That's a very interesting question. I'm curious. If you find out, like, come back to this joint and let me know so I can help other people. No doubt. What's good, B Scott Music? Appreciate you dropping in. Should producers focus on getting full songs recorded or submitting instrumentals only is fine? I've heard mixed responses on this. Completely up to you. It's really it's a personal preference. You can focus on full songs. You can focus on instrumentals. You can do a combination of both. I do a combination of both, but it's really like literally it's really up to you, man. Like you can go either way. You can go either way. If you can do both though, like why not do both? You increase, the number of opportunities you can take advantage of. Prince Made Productions, what's up? Have you ever been placed on any big picture movies, films via any of your current libraries you are partnered with or on your own? I wouldn't say big picture movie. No, not yet. The biggest movie, at least like a movie that's had, a decent cast, was Napoli Ever After. I did that on my own. I was a publisher in that situation. I did another film, which I don't even remember the name of that joint, and I didn't even see it, but it came out like on streaming platforms. So that Napoli Ever After, like that came out on Netflix, but it had like Sanaa Lathan and some other people in there. So it was a really good movie. But no, that was probably the biggest as far as movies. I've done had some stuff placed on some other like indie films and things like that, but that was probably like the biggest one. Do your collabs work on a 50-50 split, and is that distributed fairly through royalty companies, or is it easier to just pay an artist a one-off fee for, say, a vocal feature or sax player, for example? Great question. Let's break it down. So this is how I usually do it. If it's a musician, say a bass player, it depends. Say it's a bass player or guitar. If I wrote like the guitar line, right? Like, so I put fake guitar on it, and then I want to bring a real guitar to play what I already wrote. In that situation, I would pay them a one-time fee, have them fill out a work for hire agreement, and then that's it. That's the end of the transaction. I own 100% of that track. If I, hit up a guitarist and was like, yo, let's create some tracks together. You create some stuff. I add my own thing to it. We put it together. Then in that situation, we would do a 50-50 split. And yes, as far as royalties would be 50-50 as well. As far as artists / songwriters, if it's the same way, like if I wrote the whole song and produced it, and I'm just having somebody come and reference the track because their voice sounds better than my voice, then I'll just pay them a fee. And again, it depends, you know what I'm saying? Like, if I don't have anything to pay them up front, then, you may be able to negotiate a percentage or something like that. It just depends on who it is, depends on the situation. And then, of course, if they're writing, then they're going to get their percentage. So if somebody's writing the song, I'm producing the song, we splitting that joint 50-50. So that's how I do it. I'm a citizen of both countries if that helps. Yeah, I would definitely ask them. It's double citizenship. That would be cool to see though. Like I wonder how you would like. I guess you just pick one. Like I want this one to be here, tracked in Canada, or they all communicate, so it'll all end up coming back to you anyway. But yeah. There's tons of opportunities in the sync world. That's a fact, creative, for sure. You already know. I'm with ASCAP as a publisher. Is that a good thing or bad thing? I have my own website and I am with DistroKid. If I get a placement, will they contact my company or DistroKid? Excuse me. There's like a lot of different variables there. With everything in this question. So, you being a publisher with ASCAP, I mean, that's a good thing. It's not a bad thing. You have that set up in case a direct situation happens, right? So there's like different things that can happen within all of this. Like if you're working with the library, you're not gonna even use the publisher account with ASCAP when they register your tracks. So it's not gonna be applicable for that situation. You would use it if you were working, say, with a music supervisor and you're keeping everything, publishing and writers and all that stuff. If you got a placement through a library, when you sign that agreement with the library, you're signing the agreement so that the music is pre-cleared and then they can say yes on anything that gets placed. So most times you probably won't even hear about the placement when it actually happens. Like by the time you hear about it, it's probably already aired or whatever. If you're working directly with the supervisor, you may, they will let you know, because you have to sign off on the paperwork because they're doing everything through you as the publisher and writer, and copyright owner and all that stuff. So yeah, those are like the different situations that can help from that. But no, they're not gonna contact DistroKid because DistroKid isn't a publisher. DistroKid has like no rights to your music, copyright or anything. They're literally just the people who upload the music and distribute it on streaming platforms, and then they'll collect mechanicals as far as streaming and sales of that music, and then that's it. So hopefully that makes sense. Prince Made Productions, BMI asking if I'm a DBA or a division. A division? What do they mean, a division? I currently have an S corp. What should I choose? What if you have an S corp? I don't know what division means. I don't know what that means. So I don't know if I'm answering it right because I don't understand that. I know corporations, like when you fill out a W-9 form, you have the option to use your personal name and your social security number, and then you have the option to be a a disregarded entity, such as a LLC, S corp, C corp, or corporation, whatever. Because you can be an LLC taxed as an S corp or C corp or whatever. But yeah, do you have a DBA? Are you doing a DBA? I just signed up. If you're a writer, just use your name. Use your regular name. Like you don't have to have a DBA, or anything. Or if you want to be a disregarded entity, then you put that. But I think there's like some extra steps to do for that stuff. So I'm not sure. Yeah, absolutely, man. They have some dope music on there. Am I supposed to get royalties from MLC too if I am already signed up with BMI? So MLC is like a separate thing as far as collection is concerned. So you don't get like MLC through BMI. Like you gotta go through the what MLC has all set up in order to do that. Details on that, I don't know if you guys caught the podcast episode I did with Tammy Latrell, but go back and watch that or listen to it if you're listening on on your podcast platform audio version. But go back and listen to that episode, how to collect all your royalties with Tammy Latrell. She breaks that down and how you can make sure you're collecting from the MLC as well. Or just hit her company up, the Mezzo Agency, directly, and they'll walk you through all of that. I have no DBA or division, but I keep hearing choose DBA, but I want it. Yeah, like you can't choose something you don't have, right? So I don't know who's telling you that, but if you don't have a DBA, you can't choose DBA. So just use your name. And all a DBA is still coming to you. Like, it's still you. It's just I'm doing business as a different name, but that joint is still like connected. Like, if you have your personal name, you don't have an LLC, and then you just have a DBA, it's still attached to you, the person, the social security number. So yeah, just use, there's no need to do that. Because all that stuff is getting registered with your name. Because if you do that, man, like, you filling out stuff, like, you don't want to make that more complicated than it needs to be. Like, you're working with music libraries, just use your regular name when you sign the stuff. Use your regular name, social security or EIN if you have a company and they're paying you through your company. But just like, make sure y'all sort that out before you sign the deal with the company. Like, or when you're at the process, when you're at the step where you're filling out the paperwork, make that clear, because you don't want it to be confusion when it's time to cut the check. Let me see if I can let me show you. I want to make sure I'm spelling it right. I'm about to I'm gonna give y'all here we go. I'll give you the IG so you'll know. Like, everything is pretty much linked from there. You can go from there. But yeah, she'll get you right in terms of the publishing and all that stuff. So Tammy Latrell, that's her IG. Her company, the link will be in the bio. Her company is the Mezzo Agency. They are publishing admins, and they know their stuff, so they'll be able to answer any questions that you have in regards to the MLC, publishing, pub admin stuff, all of that stuff. So yeah, definitely check her out. Should I take down my submissions from other music libraries if they get licensed through one? This is a great question. So I'm gonna tell you guys how I approach this. So when you're in the pitching phase in this music licensing space or whatever, right? You haven't done any paperwork or anything, and you're just pitching. You can send that same playlist to as many companies as you want, to somebody, put some paperwork in front of you, y'all sign off on something. It ain't official until the ink dry. So you can do that. Now, once a company signs a track on that playlist, it would be wise to go ahead and take that track off of that submission playlist and kind of rotate things out once those tracks are signed. And this is why you don't want to, and I learned this just from even with producing for artists and on the industry side of things. Like, you don't want to sit in a session and then play an artist a bunch of tracks that aren't available and they fall in love with those joints, and you got to tell them, oh, nah, like somebody else got this already. You don't want to do that. So the same thing applies in music licensing, right? Like, you don't want to send a library something that that's already signed. Like, now if you've already sent it during that submission phase and then the library reaches out later and they just didn't get to you first, then that's their loss at that point. Like, you just be like, I'm sorry, somebody already signed it. You should have hit me back sooner. That's just life. But, once you know it's signed, then just take it off of that playlist. Don't submit it anymore, and you'll be good to go. Good question. I plan on going to the music director instead of using a music library. The thing is, BMI had that question after I put in my company's name and EIN number. The DBA and division question was required. Oh, okay. Yeah. That's where, things start getting weird after that. Have you heard of Music for TV company? They operate as admins that get your music on shows, etc. I've heard of it. I've seen a couple posts like a couple years ago, but I don't know. Like, I don't know any details or anything like that about them. Has anybody else? Just drop it in the chat. Let Boom J know your experience with the company name Music for TV. So yeah. But yeah, man, that's just a part of the process, submitting stuff, and just waiting for people to reply in the right libraries, getting it in the right libraries' hands, and all that stuff. So yeah. So listen, man, I'm about to hop off, but before I do, for anybody who's trying to get started in sync, now is the best time. Actually, last 5 years was the best time, but now is the next best time to get started and learning what you need to learn to start getting your music placed in TV and film. I've been able to help a lot of producers through my Road to 10 Placements course, which is my blueprint to landing your first 10 TV placements, and it walks you through, pretty much everything I did to get it placed. However, in 2 days, I will be taking the Road to 10 Placements course, as you guys know it, down this Friday. So if you want it, right now I have it on an extreme discount. It's only $27 right now. So if you want to grab it and you want to jump into the sync licensing space and learning how to get your music placed in TV and film, then I suggest you grab it before I take it down, because it's about to come down. So take advantage of it. But shout out to all the producers, man, who have gotten their first licensing deals, who have gotten their first TV placement, multiple TV placements. I know some producers got hundreds of TV placements because they took the information in the course and they applied it. You know what I mean? Like, so it's super duper exciting to see that and to see people implement it. So if you're an action taker, good things can happen. And there's really only a few reasons why someone would say no to your music, but there's always a reason why. It's up to you to figure out, what that reason is. I do these Q&As so that you can come back and ask questions and, get unstuck and all that stuff. So yeah, so that's it. So if you want to get your hands on that course before I take it down in a couple days, to just go to this website, clintproductions.com/link in bio. It's the first button at the top. Click it, download it, and get your knowledge game up. Yo, like I heard something super interesting, by the way. Myron Golden, man, the dude's a genius. So he was just talking about how, and I don't know if he said it was like a law or something, but he's just talking about how, like, when something just stays and is left to itself without any influence from an outside force, it gets worse. So for example, a car, if you just took a car, sat that joint on the street and didn't do anything to it, over time your tires are going to wear down. Over time the joint probably won't even start up. It's just going to deteriorate on its own because there's nothing outside of it doing anything to maintain it, improve it, keep it better. The same thing happens to your brain. If you don't do anything to feed your brain, if you don't do anything to learn new things, new strategies, new information, your brain will literally sit and just deteriorate, and you won't grow, and you'll wonder why you're still stuck in the same place year after year doing the exact same thing that you've been doing for the past 5 to 10 years. Is because you're not giving yourself new information. You're not investing in yourself and putting new things in, being that outside force for your brain to grow and to develop as producers, as artists, as songwriters. So it's imperative that, you learn things that can move your production or songwriting or whatever you do business forward, so that you can continue to grow and continue to crush it and meet your goals and take things to the next level. So hopefully you guys are doing that so you can get to the next level and just constantly level up. Like, it never stops. Like, the learning, it never stops. It literally doesn't stop. So yeah. So I'm out. Remember that this is the link. If you guys want to go ahead, grab that joint before I take it down. It includes it doesn't include the instrumental, how to structure instrumental course, but you can add the how to structure instrumental course as well. That's going to be taken down. So yeah, grab it while you can. I'm out. I hope y'all have a good rest of the week. And remember, you make music, not excuses. Peace.